Friday, January 19. This is the news on PBCJ. I am Simone Absalom. The opposition and members of the business community is in support of the government's decision to place St. James under a state of public emergency. The latest measure in its fight against crime was signed by Governor General Sir Patrick Allen and circulated to journalists attending a press briefing on the measure at Jamaica House yesterday. Prime Minister Andrew Holness explained the developments leading to the declaration of the state of emergency.
Crime and violence, in particular murders, have been escalating in the parish of St. James. I have been advised by the security forces in writing that the level of criminal activity experienced, continued, and threatened is of such a nature and so extensive in scale as to endanger public safety.
Noting that, under the state of public emergency, the security forces will have extraordinary powers and some rights will be suspended. The Prime Minister explained this did not mean that the use of extraordinary powers by the security forces will be beyond review.
The declaration of a state of public emergency does not mean the suspension of the rule of law. The security forces are expected and have been directed to treat citizens with respect and protect the dignity and safety of all.
Also, Justice Minister Delroy Chuck told the briefing that the institution of the state of emergency was the ultimate tool that the government can use to utilize to restore peace and reclaim public order and public security in a community.
This means extraordinary powers have been given to the security forces to search, curtail operating hours of business, access to places, and for the detention of persons without warrant. These actions will not be done randomly. Effective communication will occur by order and in accordance with the emergency powers regulations. Resort to a declaration of a state of emergency is the ultimate tool that the government can utilize to restore peace and reclaim public order and public security in a community.
In his response to the announcement, the opposition spokesman on national security, Fitz Jackson, said that the People's National Party, quote, lends qualified support to this effort and will await the regulations governing the operations of the state of emergency, which are required to be placed before Parliament, end quote. The Jamaica Manufacturers Association, JMA, said that it fully supports the declaration, which allows law enforcers special powers to deal with the outbreak of violence affecting the parish. Plans are underway to rebuild the Walker's Place of Safety on Lyndhurst Crescent in St. Andrew, which was destroyed by fire on Monday night. 2 children died. Floyd Green, State Minister for Youth, said a technical team is conducting an assessment to determine the cost to rebuild. He added that discussions are underway with private sector partners. Persons are also encouraged to donate to an account managed by the Child Protection and Family Services Agency, which will go towards the reconstruction of the building. The State Minister said efforts are being made to have the more than 30 displaced children return to school on Monday. They are staying at other facilities in the corporate area. Government is making headways in restoring access to 2 Portland communities that were marooned due to flooding and landslides caused by recent heavy rains.
This is a problem that's long-standing, that has gotten worse since the recent rains, and it is now at a crisis level. And we are hoping that within 2 weeks we can have not only a design but an estimate that I can present to the Minister and the CEO of NWA. The trench will be refilled, but in refilling it we're going to put some pipes underneath so that water can still drain if we have continued showers as a temporary solution.
These times, ladies and gentlemen, demand bold faith, bold action, and fervent faith. Those were the words of the Governor-General, Sir Patrick Allen, as he brought greetings at yesterday's 38th Annual National Leadership Prayer Breakfast at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel in Kingston. Like it was for the inaugural breakfast back in 1979 at the height of a nation under siege, the central focus of this year's breakfast was crime.
Since we met last year, there have been many occurrences and activities which cause us great concern and discomfort. And though we have had interventions by religious and social organizations, we have not suppressed the negatives that impact our society so greatly. This is a very compelling reason for us to return to our annual prayer session. In addition to the injunction of our Lord that men and women must pray and not faint.
Meanwhile, Reverend Astor Carlyle, the pastor of the Webster Memorial United Church, called for moral clarity. The pastor asserted that each Jamaican had a role to play in returning the country to righteousness.
Warm and generous are the words our visitors use to describe us, but the homicide figures show that we are at war with ourselves. The cold, calculating, and callous ways in which our Jamaican sisters and brothers, old and young, are made to exit this life points to an assault upon the soul of our nation. A daunting side of our Jamaican reality. Progressing we are on many levels, and various targets are being pursued for our prosperity. Yet there is a paralyzing force at work from within that threatens to undermine our potential. And that force I would describe as moral insensitivity. A seeming normalization of the crassness and crudeness, a seeming normalization of lewdness and rudeness, a kind of dulling of moral emotions where the line between right and wrong has been erased.
Last year, 1,616 people were murdered in Jamaica, with St. James, the police division, leading the homicides chart. It ended 2017 with a record 332 murders. That's 67 more than reported in 2016. A major security operation is now underway in St. James. Plans are advanced in the preparation for the InterParliamentary Workshop being held under the theme Partnerships to Transform Gender Relations. According to a release from Gordon House, the workshop will take place on January 24 and 25, 2018 at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel, and it's a collaborative effort that will see participation by parliamentarians and gender experts from 11 countries. The meeting will be hosted by the Honourable Olivia Babsy-Grange, Member of Parliament and Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport. Participants will exchange successful strategies that have been employed to address these problems in their respective countries, highlighting the critical importance of transforming gender norms and working in partnership with diverse stakeholders. Minister Grange describes the event as an opportunity to, quote, discuss gender equality and gender mainstreaming and to address the issues that affect our women and or men, end quote. In regional news, the Trump administration in the United States has banned Haitians from applying for temporary visas to work seasonally in the country. The Department of Homeland Security has given notice that Haitians, as well as nationals from Belize and the South Pacific nation of Samoa, are no longer eligible for the H-2A, H-2B visas. The visas allow U.S. businesses to bring in seasonal workers from other countries. The H-2A visa allows seasonal workers for agriculture, and the H-2B visa is given to those for non-agricultural work, such as resorts. In the notice published online, the DHS said Haitians who have been granted H-2A and H-2B visas have demonstrated high levels of fraud and abuse and a high rate of overstaying. The Trump administration also recently ended temporary protected status for about 60,000 Haitians. 6 people, including a child, were killed when a small plane crashed in the Bahamas on Wednesday. The twin-engine Piper Aztec was en route from Andros to New Providence in the morning when it turned back, disappearing from radar. The investigation into the fatal crash continues.
Keith Major is the general manager of the Bahamas Air Services Navigation Division that has oversight for air traffic control. Major says the twin-engine plane departed San Andros Airport at about 8:03 Wednesday morning.
The aircraft received a transponder code for identification. The aircraft afterward appears to be returning to San Andres, but no radio contact was established further than that. And attempts to contact the aircraft by or through other aircraft were unsuccessful. The aircraft appeared to be circling at 2,700 feet and descending, and just disappeared off the radar scope. Since that time, we've been employing search and rescue procedures.
Director General for the Bahamas Civil Aviation Authority, Captain Charles Bannaby, says the next steps will be to launch an investigation.
We will dispatch a team from our Safety Oversight Department who will work closely in conjunction with the Air Accident Investigation Department. Once it is confirmed that the aircraft has been found, a team will be dispatched first thing tomorrow morning, to conduct their investigations with a view towards establishing exactly what caused the event and what were the contributing factors. The pilot's records, training records, medical records, the aircraft records, maintenance, when the last maintenance check was performed, if there were any issues with the aircraft. They will also look to see, as Mr. Major indicated, whether weather was a causal factor.
Bannaby had these words for the families of the passengers involved.
In sports, FIFA President Gianni Infantino says Jamaica could host youth tournaments in the future as he spoke at the opening day of a 2-day FIFA summit currently being held in Montego Bay in the Montego Bay Conference Center. According to reports, it's all a part of his plans to improve the sport over the next few years. Infantino announced proposals to merge the Under-17 and Under-20 FIFA World Cup tournaments for both men and women. He says Jamaica is an important country to FIFA affairs and noted that future plans help position the country to stage youth competitions. Still on news in football, Trinidad and Tobago and Haiti's women's team are battling it out for a spot in the World Cup in France. The Twin Island Republic is hosting a round of CONCACAF qualifiers. Head coach Jamaica Shabazz says his team is ready for all challenges. We have more in this report from Vinod Narwani.
Yeah, pulled it this time, banged it in short. Oh, glorious, fantastic cricket shot. There's an appeal this time, and he's given. Come on!
Bowled it. Well, there you go. Is that the experience we're looking for from the captain or not?
What a catch. Outstanding piece of wicket-keeping. Gone! That's the wicket that they were looking for.
This time over mid-on, high and handsome. That'll go the distance. Punch down the ground this time. Very good shot. Well, this was coming, and a very good cricket shot.
Oh, big shout, had to be, is it? Yes. I was giving it out from up here, Hassan Raza. Down the ground. Oh, and a juggle and gone, though. Yeah, good take in the end. And that has gone boom. Oh, and he's found the man on the offside.
Should be out. Oh, clash is out. Oh, that's fantastic.
He has been so good today in World Cup. Yes, there will be a new winner, a new name on the trophy.
And that's the news. Do stay with us. The weather report is next. This is PBCJ's weather report. Thanks so much for staying with us. Let's start with our local currents. We're looking at Kingston right now. The temperature is just about 27 degrees Celsius. This morning it was lower. We're seeing that it was 23 degrees Celsius. We're forecast to have a lower temperature this evening. It should go down to 22 degrees Celsius. And we're also seeing a forecast of scattered showers for some areas in Kingston today. Over in Montego Bay, St. James, you should be getting some rainfall today, and we're also seeing temperatures between 23 and 26 degrees Celsius. We're seeing that in some areas, the temperature is set to go down as low as 7 degrees Celsius this evening when the sun sets at 6:33 p.m. And across the islands today, we're looking at temperatures between 26 and 30 degrees Celsius, even though you can expect scattered showers across the island. It should be pretty warm out. In our forecast for tomorrow, we're seeing temperatures between 27 and 30 degrees Celsius. We're also seeing a forecast of scattered showers across the island. You should be having some sunny skies over there in Black River, St. Elizabeth and in Mapen, Clarendon. Let's take a look at our forecast for tonight though. Before you go to bed, it's going to be just about 22 or 23 degrees Celsius across the island. And we're also seeing a forecast of rainfall in the northern end and in the hilly inland areas of the island. It should be pretty cloudy in the south coast. The forecast today across the Caribbean, we're looking at cloudy conditions over there in Nassau, Bahamas. We're looking at rainfall in the eastern end of the region though. It should be pretty sunny skies over there in Havana, Cuba. We're looking at temperatures between 27 and 28 degrees Celsius across the region for today. Let's look at our forecast for tomorrow for the Caribbean. We're looking at rainfall over there in Santo Domingo and over there in St. George's, Grenada. It should be pretty sunny out as we go into the western end of the Caribbean though. We're also looking at temperatures between 23 and 29 degrees Celsius forecast for tomorrow. Let's take a look at our travel planner. We're looking to the United States for tomorrow. You can expect some sunny skies, but some cloudy conditions as well in these areas. We're looking at Los Angeles, Miami, New York, and Atlanta. We're looking at a minimum temperature -1 degree Celsius, going up to just about 23 degrees Celsius, and that's forecast for Miami. The lowest temperature we're seeing is in areas in New York. And that's it for the weather report. Thanks so much for making it PBCJ. Remember, we are the People's Station.